If you are like many other people today, you woke up this morning and maybe had some different emotions than you've had in previous days during this quarantine or threat of quarantine. And so, for the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about what's going on inside your head and explain something to you called, well, if I can spell it correctly, culture shock. This is coronavirus culture shock, what's going on right now in your head and in your heart. There's 4 stages of culture shock. If you're not familiar with culture shock, it's what you go through when you move cross-culturally. So for example, my wife and I lived in Spain for about a year, and we've done a lot of traveling. Culture shock is something you experience as you're entering into a new culture. Now, I would like to point out that because this is our own culture and we are quarantined within our own culture, culture shock may happen quicker because it's so dramatic, but you're going to experience culture shock nonetheless. And so, stage 1 of culture shock is what's called the honeymoon stage. The honeymoon stage of culture shock is basically when you're thinking to yourself, this is kind of fun. That's when you are enjoying the fact that you get to spend extra time with your family. You're enjoying the fact that there's been nice weather, that you have a garage filled with food, and now you have free time. You don't even have to go to work. Maybe some of you are even getting paid, though you're not at work. And so this is the honeymoon stage. Some people are still there. For the rest of us, we've moved beyond the honeymoon stage to the stage of frustration. And what that may look like is you looking at your spouse and saying, "Why am I angry?" Or as my daughter said to me, "Why are you angry, Dad?" Great question. Not really sure. What's really happening is you are acclimating to this new culture. And so your emotions may not make sense. You may feel like, I'm angry at everybody. I'm angry at the person who is more prepared than me because they're obviously weird. I'm angry at the person who's less prepared for me because they're not taking this seriously. I'm angry at my kids because they won't let me homeschool. I'm angry at myself because I thought I'd be handling this better. I'm angry at everyone around me. This is stage 2 of culture shock, the stage of frustration. The third stage in culture shock is called adjustment. Adjustment is as you wrestle with what life now looks like. And so basically, I'm getting used to this. You're getting used to the idea of homeschooling. You're getting used to the idea of working remotely from home. Maybe you're getting used to the way that you are rationing supplies, knowing that you don't know when you'll be able to go out to the grocery store next or whatever it might be. And the final stage is the stage of acceptance. Or to put it another way, you could say the new normal. Now, with our current existence in a quarantine, there's a lot of things to become acclimated to. The way that you interact with your kids, the way that you interact with your spouse, the way that you interact with your job, if you'll have a job, the idea that you can't just go out anytime you want, the fact that you may have to change the way that you are worshiping digitally over Zoom or over FaceTime or Google Hangouts or WebEx or over the phone or whatever it might be. Realize that everything is adjusting. And as things are adjusting, you're going to experience these different emotions. There's going to be a time when you're thinking this is pretty cool. There's going to be times when you're absolutely frustrated and angry and you have no idea why. There's going to be times when you're starting to get the hang of it, and then when things will become the new normal. And here, this is one of the things that I want to point out is this is how culture changes. And so realize that if this happens and this continues for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, longer, your culture will change. Your family culture will change. Your church culture will change. Your work culture will change. Our culture will change. And so the question is, are you ready to have the kind of culture that you actually want? And so as you're going through all of these different emotions, don't think there's anything wrong with you. You're actually just going through culture shock.